Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a great weekend. Welcome back to the Aura News broadcast. It is time again for our daily English Flash News edition, and as usual, I'm Daniel Cook, your host. It's the first day of the new school year, and more than 500,000 of Albania's young citizens headed back to school this morning. Out of these, 30,000 are brand new students attending school for the first time. The new students were accompanied by their parents, and the teachers created a welcoming atmosphere for them. Albania's Prime Minister, Rama, paid a visit to the school Sami Frasheri today, where he announced that by the year 2018, all classrooms will be digitalized. This will be a major step forward for Albania's schools, as currently there are only 120 with digital technology. Mr. Rama wished a happy new academic year to the pre-university students on their first day of school. He attended 3 classes at the Sami Frasheri school in Tirana and gave the following speech. "We chose this school not by coincidence. This is one of the best schools in Tirana, and they are starting this school year with 3 digitalized classes out of the 120 in Tirana. By 2018 or 2019, all classes will be like this," he said. Prime Minister Rama wished the students a successful school year. Tirana's mayor, Erion Veliaj, visited the Ismail Chamali High School. He announced that there are going to be scholarships awarded to the top students. In an interview for the German media during his stay in Bavaria, Prime Minister Rama said that he thinks Albania is ready for EU membership right away. Responding to a question from a German journalist who asked, "When will Albania become an EU member?" Rama gave the following answer. "You should ask the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel. If it were up to me, I would say right now." The Prime Minister said that Albania has suffered a great deal from the negative image that the internationals have created. He said that the opinion of foreigners is often changed when they actually visit Albania, because what they see is different from what they heard about the country. A German newspaper writes the following: "Paintings are stress-free. As a Prime Minister, Mr. Rama is making some paintings, as Albania is facing the exodus of its youth toward the Western countries. He knows that he cannot stop them, but he wants to offer them opportunities to be educated so that they look for jobs instead of asylum in Europe. He hopes that one day they will come back to their country as he himself did." The Vice Minister of Social Welfare gave a report today at the Commission for Integration, announcing the government's new measures to prevent the high number of asylum seekers that are leaving the country for the EU countries. The authorities are promoting vocational education as a means to find jobs more easily, especially in Germany. Vice Minister Sulaj said, "We will approximate our system with the German system, and we will include the German language as a second language in our vocational schools. Meanwhile, people who were refused asylum will be considered to be a priority group on the list of job seekers." The Democratic Party thinks that these measures have been too long delayed. The Democratic MP Majlinda Bregu had this to say: "There are children who are yet to be returned and children who are currently being returned. I have not heard about any policy that will come to their aid. There is a total lack of attention to this phenomenon and a failure to address it," said Bregu. The issue of asylum seekers has developed into a very concerning problem for the Albanian government and for the authorities in Brussels, as the Albanians are now ranked in second place on the list of origin countries. Albania has reached the staggering number of 38,000 asylum seekers in the first 8 months of this year, culminating in August with 8,000 asylum seekers. There was some disagreement in the Decriminalization Commission today over whether or not to discuss the report from Venice. The Vice Chairman Talant Bala asked for a review of the report in today's agenda, proposing that 2 members of the Commission should be responsible for reviewing the report and that the constitutional amendments should be included in the judiciary reform. The Chairman, Awerd Bulukbashi, was not in favor of reviewing the report in today's session. He said, "All the members of this Commission are familiar with the content of the Venice Commission report, which is of great value, but this Commission cannot discuss the report. It will serve as a guideline for our work." Mr. Bulukbashi added that any proposals from the majority will be welcome. The Democratic MP Edward Halimi made it clear that the opposition did take the report into consideration when preparing their draft. He highlighted the need to approve the decriminalization law as soon as possible, adding that the incriminated must not be able to find shelter in the Constitution. The other Democratic MP, Gent Strazimiri, made an appeal for a solution to be found quickly, without delays. The British ambassador to Albania has commented on the decriminalization issue for the first time. Ambassador Cannon suggests that the decriminalization issue should be discussed with the civil society and the citizens. He made this comment today. This is a decision of the Albanian people and the parliament, but the citizens have the right to be represented by a higher level of politicians. No one wants to be represented by a person who has had problems with human trafficking or drug trafficking. This is a problem that must be resolved. The question is how to act. The opinion of the public must be heard before the parties can reach an agreement on how to act, said Mr. Cannon. The British diplomat declared that if he were an Albanian citizen, he would not want to be represented by incriminated people. I would not like to be represented by a gang, and the Albanian people think the same. I do not have the right to vote in your country, but you do, so think about a solution, he concluded. The British ambassador made these comments today from the city of Durrës after a ceremony for the opening of an English course at the Maritime Operational Center. After returning to his duties today as the head of Tirana Interpol, Artan Bayraktari has demanded that the investigations into the Mark Froku case be resumed. His court session was postponed today because of the absence of the prosecutor, and he declined to give a media statement afterwards. He has requested that the investigations should continue, even though the prosecutor has ordered the case against him to be closed. Bayraktari returned to his duty 5 months after he was arrested, after being declared innocent by the court. In context of this case, the Democratic Party has accused Prime Minister Rama and Samir Tahiri of trying to cover up one of the biggest scandals of their government, hiding the request from Belgium Interpol to arrest Mark Froku. The Democratic Secretary Arben Ristani made this comment. The return of the chief of Interpol to his post shows that the Belgian request was not hidden by him, but by the Minister of Interior. His return to the same post shows that the request was hidden by the order of Prime Minister Edi Rama and the Minister of Interior Samir Tahiri. They did this because their MP Mark Froku had the information to close the case against Ilir Meta, who was accused of ordering the murder of 2 MPs. Ristani concluded by saying that Edi Rama and Ilir Meta will be held responsible for this scandal. The Assembly Speaker, Ilir Meta, is visiting the country of Georgia at the invite of their parliament for the International Conference on Parliamentary Transparency. Mr. Meta made the following speech at the conference. There can be no democracy without transparency and without public participation. The Parliament is dedicated to transparency through concrete planning, and the civil society has an active role in the planning of the laws of the Parliament, Meta said. He added that Albania is focused on increasing the supervisory role of the Parliament in the interest of reforms, and that technology will also play a crucial role, bringing economic and social development. At the end of his speech, Meta declared that transparency increases the participation of the public and makes all the leaders more accountable to the citizens. In today's Law Commission, the members discussed several amendments to the law on auditing public finances. The majority MPs had some criticism for the new drafts that have been prepared by the government, saying that there is an overlap of competences within the Supreme State Audit. The same argument was made at today's meeting of the Committee for Productive Activity, this time over the issue of instigating market surveillance. The new bill on public finance was approved with only the votes of the majority, as well as the law on internal auditing. The Democratic MP, Oer Bulukbashi, accused the majority of not being transparent about the tendering procedures. That concludes our edition for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please join us again tomorrow at the same time for more translated news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.